another Sunnahfollowers exclusive, Not One of Us, written by Sheikh Muhammad S. Adli, broken down and brought to you by host Laila Nasheeba. Join us every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, right here on Sunnahfollowers.
Okay. Ina alhamdulillah wa salat wa salam ala wa rasulullah. Welcome to our hadith class. And alhamdulillah, tonight we have two hadiths that we're going to be reviewing for this evening. The first hadith will be from the book entitled Not of Us. And in this book, the hadiths here do not mean that if you indulge in these behaviors, you're no longer a Muslim. When the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "You're not one of us," he was speaking about how the behavior that the person is doing is not what he was sent with. It's not the way you should behave. And if you don't correct it, it could be detrimental to your iman. So that's the first hadith. I'll be dealing with that. The second hadith, and this is the last hadith from the book Beware. Okay, we've been studying this book for a while. This is the last hadith of this book, and we have completed it. Beware. Beware of certain actions. Beware of certain actions that if a person indulges in, they can take you out of your belief system. So we will be completing the last hadith of the book Beware tonight, and we'll be continuing with Not of Us. And let's put the PowerPoint up on the screen, inshallah. Okay, this is it. Yeah. Inshallah, everybody should be able to see my screen. So those are the two books. The first one here, Beware, this will be the last hadith in that collection. And then the second picture here, this is the book we'll be continuing until we're done with it. The first hadith is from Not of Us. It speaks about how the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam warned against provoking marital problems. And then the second hadith speaks about how you shouldn't come to the mosque if you're able to sacrifice and don't. And we'll go into detail about both of them. And let's start with the first one from the book entitled Not One of Us. And this hadith addresses provoking marital trouble. And it's narrated by Abu Hurairah, radiyallahu anhu. He said that the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, said, anyone who incites a woman against her husband or a slave against his master is not one of us. And of course, the hadith is authentic. It's a Dawood hadith, but it's authentic. Let's talk about this. What did the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam mean when he say incite a woman? You know, people that like to stir up marital problems. This is a big problem amongst us as a nation today, especially with the in-laws. You don't like your son's wife. So you're sticking your nose in their marital affairs. You're always stirring up trouble. You're causing dissension between him and his wife. This is a sin in Islam, okay? Or either you're a second or a third or a fourth wife, and you're jealous of the other one. So you're going to sit there and incite them to have arguments and to not get along in hopes that he'll divorce her. You know, the Prophet Muhammad had to deal with this type of drama. Subhanallah. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was married, you know, and we were doing a story of his wives. And sometimes Hafsa, his wife Hafsa and Aisha, They would combine together and they would try to incite a lot of problems in the marriage. You know, and this is something that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to admonish them about on a daily basis many times. You know, you two instigating, you two because you can't. Hafsa had a problem controlling her anger. Aisha, her jealousy. You two inciting fitna amongst the other wives. You know, this is something that we have to be careful of as Muslim women and Muslim men, because nowadays men do the same thing. You know, you want to stick your nose in your brother's business. It ain't none of your business how your brother allows his wife to do what you wouldn't allow yours to do. Every man is different. Every woman is different. What works for you may not work for him. So we have to be careful to not go around provoking marital troubles. So it's a wonderful hadith that brings about a lot of lessons. Number one, we should be careful not to spread fitna amongst other Muslims, especially the family. And you don't want to end up causing a woman to dislike her husband or to disobey him either, unless he's telling her something that contradicts what Allah says. Women are like that. You're jealous, so you want to tell her, if I was married to him, I wouldn't let my husband do this. I wouldn't allow my husband to do that. I wouldn't listen to my husband. I do what I want to do. You know, stop imposing your behavior, your thoughts on that sister there, because in reality, you're jealous of her because you wish you had a relationship with your husband that she has with hers. Okay, so, you know, don't allow this to happen. Don't allow people into your marital affairs. And I tell you, sisters, all the time, be careful with social media. A lot of you women like to post on Facebook pictures of you and your husband when y'all go out to dinner, pictures of you and your husband sitting down, eating, holding hands, making plans. You know, people have hasad. You can cause somebody to make hasad on you. You can cause somebody to become pretty jealous of you and make hasad on you. So you need to keep your marital affairs to yourself. I wouldn't, if I had a husband, and when I did have a husband, I never allowed nobody into my personal life. You know, I didn't post no pictures of me and my husband together. Never would, never will. It ain't your business, because I know people are jealous. You're jealous of me. You'd be really jealous if I had a man too. You know, jealous of my kids. That's why I don't put pictures of my children, my grandchildren, my family members. People are jealous. We have to think before we post up all this personal information about our family members. And we wonder why bad things are happening. People can really wish evil upon you. The evil eye does exist. We don't deny that its existence. Okay? But I'm telling you, don't give people reason to come after you and yours. Also, we learn from this hadith that the family of the husband or wife should be careful to know what their boundaries are. Don't transgress the limits with your son and his wife. Don't transgress the limits with your daughter and her husband. Okay? Also observe the rules. A Muslim man should never be alone with a woman who is not a mahram to him. And a Muslim woman should never be alone with a man who is not a mahram to her. Observe that. Okay, so these are some of the lessons that can be learned from this wonderful hadith. And then let's take a look at the second hadith for tonight. And this hadith is the last hadith from the book Beware. So alhamdulillah, we have just completed the book Beware with this hadith. This hadith speaks about how the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, do not come near the mosque if you don't sacrifice. What was he speaking about? He said, whoever can afford it but does not offer a sacrifice, let him not come near our praying place. And this hadith is in regards to the Eid al-Adha, the Eid al-Adha, when we do the sacrifice. If you can afford to sacrifice, you should. But if you can't, the prophet says, don't come near us if you can and you refuse to, because this is something bad. So we learned that it's highly recommended. It's a highly recommended sunnah to offer a sacrifice during the Eid al-Adha if you can. And some of the scholars say it's obligatory upon you if you can. Also, a Muslim should perform as many actions of worship as he's able to get closer to Allah. And one of the best ways to get close to Allah is to sacrifice in his name. Also, we learn from this hadith that our Eid prayer is still valid even if we don't offer sacrifice. And finally, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to offer a sacrifice every year. And he would offer 2 horned rams, one on behalf of himself and the other on behalf of his family, and the other on behalf of all the Muslims. So again, on the day of the Eid, when Ramadan comes around, on the day of the Eid, if you're able to sacrifice, you have the money, you can't afford to do it, you should do it. It's a great action of worship that brings about a lot of blessings. So alhamdulillah, these were the 2 hadiths for tonight. Like I told you guys, this class is short. It's only no longer than 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, I want you to ponder these hadiths. Remember when Eid comes around, if you're able to, offer a sacrifice. Most of my students do. And also beware of sticking your nose in other people's marital problems and other people's marital business. Be careful sharing your intimate details with others on social media. Be careful sharing any of your family affairs on social media, because you never know whose heart has a disease meaning jealousy or loneliness or depression, and they'll end up wishing evil upon you. Again, Allah teaches us how to close the door to everything, any and everything that can bring about trouble for us. All we have to do is follow his commands. All right, I'm going to stop right here. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. I want to remind everybody